What's up YouTube, Capital G here talking about the new Red Eyes FTK OTK that is absolutely crazy. And because I know the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I am sure that soon it will be coming to a YGOpro / Devpro near you, because I mean we just know how people love to jump on board these FTK OTK decks. And I mean, hell, who am I to talk? I love trolling people. I love tilting them on my streams. I like making people rage quit. Hell, I rage quit all the time on my stream. Anytime some jank stuff happens, I'm just like, oh, screw this. I'd rather just play something else. I'll just go into a tag duel or something like that. But yeah, I think that this deck has the potential to become popular just because if your opponent doesn't have a couple of counters, they just sit there and die, just like all FTKs. Like, it doesn't matter what your opponent has. If they open with Regeki and Twin Twister and Pantheism and all these other great cards, it doesn't matter if you don't get a chance to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Then this is actually an FTK burn, which we don't see a lot of those. Usually FTKs like Gishki and stuff like that, a lot of them are deck outs, but I guess there are a couple of burns out there, and this is just another one of them. So the reason that this is a possibility is all thanks to the new card coming out in Invasion of Venom called Falling Meteor Black Dragon. I talked about this a couple of days ago. I'm sure that most of you guys have already seen that video. But what's important about this card and what enables this to be a thing is the fact that this card can do burn damage to your opponent turn one going first. So they generally won't have anything that can stop it unless people are going to start playing anti-burn cards, or if Konami's going to, unban Damage Juggler, okay, then, this deck is basically donezo. But outside of that, the fact that this card doesn't need the battle phase to do burn damage like this guy does is very, very important. Now, when I first looked at this card and I reviewed it, I thought, oh, it's got great stats and that's really good, and it's got, some nice burn effect that's even better, and the fact that it replaces itself with a normal is really, really good. But it is actually so much better than this guy because of these crazy degenerate loops, and because of a card like Inferno Fire Blast being able to burn your opponent for 3,500 damage is freaking huge. Now, you don't get your battle phase that turn with a Red Eyes Black Dragon monster, which it's like whatever, you don't care because you're gonna kill them anyways. Now, at first I was like, well, how does this work? Because this is not technically a Red Eyes B monster, but it really all ties together with the effect of Red Eyes Fusion. When you activate Red Eyes Fusion, the monster that gets summoned actually counts as Red Eyes B Dragon, so it actually works perfect. Like, these two cards work perfectly in unison. And what essentially you'll need to pull off this combo, you'll need one copy of Red Eyes Fusion. You'll need at least one copy of Infernal Fire Blast, and if you don't have two copies of Infernal Fire Blast, then you can actually have one copy of Serial Spell, which will essentially mimic the effect of Infernal Fire Blast, and it'll burn your opponent that way. Some of you guys might not know what Serial Spell does because it's a really, really gimmicky card. Like, only these degenerate FTK OTK decks ever play the card because you have to discard your entire hand as a cost. But generally, like back in the day, people used to use deck out. They used to make their opponent draw a bunch of cards, and then they would activate card destruction, and then they would activate Serial Spell, and they wouldn't card destruction themselves twice because they didn't have a hand, but only their opponent would, and their opponent would deck out. Yeah, this card kind of just works in these degenerate decks. So essentially what happens is you activate Red Eyes Fusion, you summon your Meteor Dragon, you send a Red Eyes to the graveyard, burning your opponent for 1,200. If you want to do 200 more damage, which is utterly completely pointless because you're going to kill them either way, I guess you could send Red Eyes Darkness Metal, but again, it's semantics. Like, it's utterly pointless. So you summon your Meteor Dragon, you burn it for 1,200, then you activate Infernal Fire Blast. Since this counts as Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field because of this, you actually burn your opponent for 3,500 damage. Then you can either activate another copy and just kill your opponent right then and there, or you can chain Serial Spell to the activation of Infernal Fire Blast. You have to discard at least one card in your hand, so you do have to keep a card in your hand, which I guess technically makes it a 4-card FTK, but potentially it is a 3-card FTK. So I'm going to say 3-card because that sounds sexier. But yeah, you'll essentially mimic the effect of Infernal Fire Blast, and you will just kill your opponent. Now, the thing about this deck that's kind of crazy is, in this set, you would think, oh, Cap, how consistent is that? I mean, I don't really know. I've heard the early numbers are somewhere about 40% going first and potentially 70% with that 6 card if you're going second. Although pretty sure that there isn't a best 100%, best build of this deck. And you cannot run Upstart Goblin, by the way. Upstart Goblin is a no-no because you will not end up killing your opponent. You will leave them potentially with 600 life points. You don't want to do that, so don't do it. If Chicken Game was still legal, you could totally do that. But Red Eye's Insight will definitely be a staple in this deck because Red Eye's Insight does search out Red Eye's Fusion from the deck. So definitely there's that. Like, you don't have to worry about, oh man, I'm never getting my, Red Eye's Fusions in my opening hand. That shit is searchable now. And for the most part, I really think that all you need to do is just throw in a bunch of Red Eye's cards. Allure of Darkness is at 2 now, which gives you even more draw supports, and kind of just a whole bunch of like dragon and draw cards. Things like Blue Eyes White Dragon and trade-ins, White Stones, cards that, you can discard to the graveyard. They can thin your deck out, and then once you get these 3 cards, assuming your opponent doesn't have a Fat Veiler or they don't have, like Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, they will die unless somehow you gave them life points. So let me just show you guys a quick example of the deck in action. This is going to be really short. You see he opens up with, he opens up with the Serial Spell. He has Red Eye's Insight. I'm pretty sure he's going to search Red Eye's Fusion, which he does. Draws a couple of cards, discards, and there it is. He activates Red Eye's Fusion. He summons the Meteor Dragon. I think he's going to burn him for 1200. There's a 1200 burn damage. Activates Infernal Fire Blast. Chains directly to the Infernal Fire Blast Serial Spell. And, GG no re. Now, you do have to chain Serial Spell directly to the Infernal Fire Blast if you want to go that route. Like, you can't activate Infernal Fire Blast and then play something else. Like, it has to be directly chained to the card. So that is, just don't mess it up, and essentially you will be able to win the game. This is a 3-card FTK potentially if you have double Infernal Fire Blast. If you only have one in Serial Spell, you need 1 card in hand. It's 4 cards. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to see a deck list for this, I'm pretty sure I can dig that up too, which I don't know why, because that's just going to be more degenerate stuff running around. I'm probably going to play this deck on my live stream tonight just to fuck with people. I don't think Falling is on Devpro, but it's definitely on YGOpro right now. So I'll definitely be playing this. Probably not in tag because you can't FTK in tag. So thank you guys for watching as always.